Welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast, where trauma survivors become healthy thrivers. Each month, we'll feature a theme in the trauma recovery and empowerment field. To promote your recovery, healing, and learning how to build dreams, here's your host, Karen Robinson, transformational coach and therapist.
Welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast. My guest is Gloria Vanderhorst. Gloria has 50 years of experience helping preschoolers through adults examine emotional needs and heal from trauma. She has worked with individuals, families, groups, and schools. Our brains record experiences from the moment we are born. Our storehouse of experiences can be used to help or harm us. Too many times, our early histories jump into the present without our awareness and undermine our interactions with family, friends, and colleagues. Gloria has a book, and maybe we could start with there. Gloria, could you tell us a little bit about the name of your book and what inspired you to write it?
That's a wonderful question. I would love to. The name of the book is Read, Reflect, Respond, the 3 R's of Growth and Change. It's a journal book, and it is organized with 52 essays. And unlike other journal books, the facing page for each essay is blank. Most journal books have lines on the facing page because they expect you to use words to respond. And I know that we respond in a variety of other ways. We respond with emotion, we respond with action. So the blank page gives you the opportunity to draw, scribble, write, to respond in the way that you get stirred and moved to respond. Is a wonderful way to uncover what's happening inside of you in response to the things that you've read. May I show you a copy of the book?
Oh, please. So anyone listening on audio, you may want to jump over to our YouTube channel to check it out.
Okay, so here's a copy of the
You got to
book.
put it over your face because of the,
Oh, what is the background?
right. But if you put it over your face, it'll show it.
There you go.
The
Perhaps,
logo.
yeah, it's the background that is distorting it. But if you take this book, it's very different because it's not organized week 1 through 52. You get to jump around. It's organized with different topic areas. And so you might open the book one day, take a look at the topics, and think, number 36 is really grabbing me because it's about baking with mother. And so you'll go to that one and respond to that one. You don't have to move through it, number 1 through number 52. And so far, people who have been using it have reported that it has opened up parts of themselves that they didn't even know existed or that they had suppressed for some period of time, and they've made changes in their lives. I had one guy call me, in fact, and say that he's 70, retired, was just going to sit in his recliner for the rest of his life. And through responding in this book, he's decided he loves photography. He's getting out of his chair, taking pictures. He's decided he's going to publish his pictures, submit them to contests. It's like a whole new life unfolded
Wow,
for him. So,
that's so beautiful.
yes,
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I just encourage everyone to think about getting a copy so that they can have their own personal experience.
And I love the blank page concept because it gives, for you said opportunity, which is true,
Right.
but I think it also gives us permission. And I really love it. I know I've had clients where I will ask them to write. And with clients with learning disabilities, I noted one of them asked me one time, I can't really articulate in words. Can I use pictures? And I was like, that's a fabulous
Yeah,
idea.
that's a beautiful idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so your journal allows that creativity. Have you heard of art journaling?
I have not. Tell me.
Art journaling is when I was in an accident. I had a serious injury after going to Cancun. I was doing an adventure boat ride and it ruptured some disc in my back and I just was struggling. And I was not able to focus I'm an avid reader. I read three
Mm-hmm.
books or more a week, but I couldn't focus because of the medication they had me on. And so I started watching these YouTube videos on art journaling. And
Wow.
you can take any kind of page and create on it. It could be a blank white piece of paper. It could be a piece of cardboard. It could be a back of a cereal box, construction paper, and you can add stickers, you can write, you can draw, you can
That's
paint.
great.
So
That
it just reminded me of that.
Wonderful. So I do watercolors myself. So I just have an
Oh,
affinity for what you've just described, that you could just take anything and create. That's wonderful.
did you know that now there's a national month about watercoloring?
I did not.
July. Wow, this is so funny. July is National Coloring Month. And I
Wow.
know that because I have a membership for survivors, and
Hmm.
every month we have a different theme. And so July 2025, I decided to use that theme so survivors could tap into their creativity.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So tell me what watercoloring means to you, or how does it soothe you or help you, I guess.
So I have loved watercolors for decades. I am not an excellent artist, but I love to put it on the page. And I love the fact that with watercolors, you have to think backwards, right? You can't go over anything. You have to think in advance and you have to be clear about what you want to create because you build it up layer after layer. So it's the way that we live our lives. We start out in one particular place and then we build on that and we layer things. And if the layers get muddy, we get ourselves in emotional trouble. And it is sometimes so easy for the layers to get muddy, and then we get stuck there. And we don't realize how stuck we are because pieces of history jump into the present without our conscious awareness and influence the way that we interact with other people. I can give you a perfect example for myself, right?
Please.
So, my very early history, infancy, was one of shock for my mother. So my experience was of immediate danger. My mother is yelling the first time she sees me because of a birth defect that I have. And so I have rejection immediately in relationship to a female.
Mm,
And for the rest of my life, because I didn't understand this or uncover this, I was always a little bit more distant with females than males, even as a kid. Right? It was easier to talk to the boy sitting next to me in third grade than it was to the girl. And it's
okay.
related to that early injury. And
Mm,
once that injury was uncovered, it was like life changing, right? Now I could make friends with women, get closer to women, feel comfortable in relationship to women. So our early histories are truly in.
powerful. Yeah. May I ask a little more about your relationship with your mom?
My mom is no longer alive. But let's see, we had a very practical and very healthy relationship. And I will
Okay.
tell you one little story about her. My mother was a nurse, and so she was used to being in charge and giving directions. And when I had my own daughter and mother was visiting, She kept giving directions on what I should do to feed, to bathe, to clothe, right? And finally, at one point, I said to my mother, I said, I really value your advice. But she kept talking to my daughter, not to me. All right. She would say, tell your mother to, tell your mother to. And I said, I would really appreciate it if you would give your advice to me and not to the baby. My mother immediately burst into tears. Now, here's a woman who is stoic, right? She doesn't cry, she doesn't break down. She burst into tears, ran upstairs, got in bed, and pulled the covers over her head like a 5, 6, 8, like a little girl would do. And that was a breakthrough moment for both of us because I was able to talk with her and understand her early injuries and how that had impacted her and really kept her from making a connection with me as a female. She was avoiding females as well. And that's why she was going through the baby rather than going directly to me. So our early histories are so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me what you think about the concept of transgenerational trauma or epigenetics.
I know it's real. I know that we carry genetic information for the past 3 generations. I have had clients, one woman in particular, who as a child had a repeat dream, and it was a trauma experience. She had never herself been in this type of a situation, but repeatedly, every few months, she would have this dream. And as she explained it to her grandmother, told her that the dream she was having was an experience that her great grandmother had in the war.
Wow.
It's powerful. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
It has blow your mind.
Blow my mind. Yeah. It's not the first time I've heard it, but it's still friggin' mind blowing.
I know it's powerful, right? We carry that material, and that genetic material has information in it.
So tell me about a little more about your work over the years and how you got so savvy in understanding that our wounds from families carry down. Like, how did you figure that out? Or was it from the story
I
of your
think-
mom, or was pre that?
No, I think doing work as a therapist is so educational about
For real?
how human beings are made and how we're influenced and how we hold on to certain things and how we problem solve. One of my earliest clients was a 3-year-old boy in preschool. His parents were divorced. He moved back and forth between these two houses 1 week at a time, and he was a terror. He was a terror in each of their households. He was a terror at school, constantly angry and acting out. And so my first encounter with him, he takes charge, runs back to my room, and we start to interact and play. And then I ask him about what happens when he gets sad. And he looked at me and he said, I never cry because my tears go in here and they go down my throat and into my belly and they turn into rocks. And then they
Oh,
come right back out my hands and I throw them all around the room.
wow.
The,
How powerful is that?
the most accurate description of transferring feelings into anger and irritation. It's just a perfect description of that. So, no matter what age we are, we're capable of insight. and capable of change.
Yes. And you had the awareness to know I should release this.
Right.
Why would I hold on to this or keep it inside me?
Right. I have to
Yeah.
get rid of this. And so I'll get rid of it by turning it into anger, throwing rocks all around.
Wow. Have you had a lot of success with working with preschoolers?
I have had not only success, but fun working with preschoolers. They're a
Yeah.
delight. They're a real treat. But at this point, my work is with adults, couples, and individuals. And I love doing that work because they have preschoolers inside of them. When they discover those preschoolers and nurture them and help to heal them, it changes the way they can function as adults.
And is there a specific or many modalities of therapy that you like to use in your work?
I love to use internal family systems, which is cutting edge in
For
terms of
sure.
helping people because it has the theoretical base that I've just illustrated, that we hold on to everything
Right.
and we store it. We cannot access it easily many times, but we can be helped to access it. And once you access the start of an injury or the place where you shifted your emotional reaction, you now have a choice. If you don't go back and recognize it, you have no choice. Right? You're stuck in repeating the same reaction, the same feeling state. But when you can uncover that piece of history, you have a choice. And I would just say it's magical to change the way that you feel about yourself and how you interact with the people around you.
And it helps us have compassion for the different parts of us that maybe we didn't or we didn't understand. Like, why is this part of me on guard so much? There's a reason for that. And I love the inner child healing around the work. I actually did some my own inner child healing yesterday, and
That
it blows my mind that we're never too old to do that.
never too old because you're a human being. Right? And this is just the way that we're organized. It's the way that we're put together. And thankfully, our brains do hold on to everything. If they didn't, we wouldn't have that opportunity for healing. But they do hold on to everything. And we can access that history and understand it and accept it and change it and not be burdened by it.
Now, when you were creating your journal, were you thinking about internal family systems and parts work as you worked on the prompts for the journal?
Actually, I was not.
Okay.
The journal, the essays just tend to come out of me. For the last few years, in the
Mm-hmm.
course of the week, just an idea will pop into my head. All right. And I flesh it out as a journal article and post it. And then the next one comes and I do the same thing. And it just got to the point where there were so many of them that I said to myself, why not organize these into one a week? So there are 52 of them in the book, and you can go through it in any direction you want, but they come just as a piece of joy for me, and I have to be able to write them.
Some people would say those are divine downloads.
That's a good way to describe it. It feels that way.
Yeah. It's like, where am I getting this information from?
That's
Or
right.
why now? Why today? Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It feels that way. Yes. Just God working through me, and I just have to put it out there.
Yeah. How has your work as a therapist and now as an author, how has that enabled or empowered your healing journey from the things that you've gone through?
Oh, I think that anyone who experiences writing will understand how powerful and what kind of a growth experience that is, right? To go inside yourself and fish around in the attic and see what you find. And
And the cellar.
and the cellar. Thank you for adding the cellar. And,
Both places tend to have some cobwebs, I know,
right,
but one's
that's
a little
right.
darker usually.
That's right. And make something out of it. We can all
Mhm.
do that. Our lives are truly rich. And yes, the injuries close off parts of ourselves and sometimes make huge scabs that are hard to approach or even think about. But it's so powerful when you can trust that you came into this world as a brilliant emotional person. That's the survival mechanism of an infant. Infants are emotionally brilliant. If you want to know who to trust at the conference table, bring an infant. Pass the infant around the table, and where the infant fusses, that person not trustworthy. Where the infant cries, that person's dangerous. Infants perceive the emotion that is generated by the body of another person, and they'll give you accurate information absolutely every time.
I really love this because I've always been a baby magnet.
You're trustworthy.
So far, so good. It makes me worried though. Should I keep trusting, pushing my luck with that?
Be careful around babies.
Yeah, be careful on babies. Okay. So I, like you, I'm a therapist, and I remember always just knowing that I would somehow be in a helping profession, somehow trying to help, especially children at the time. Like you, I mostly work with adults at this point. I have a couple college students that I've had since they were in high school. Have you always known that you would be a therapist or a helper in some way?
Not at all. I am a
Tell
therapist
me
because of calculus 2. I was a math
what?
major. I was a
I
math
would not have
major.
guessed that, Gloria. You have the most therapeutic, soft, even keel voice. I'm like, this woman's always known. She came out of her mother as a therapist. And now you're
No,
talking about calculus? This is just wrong.
I loved math. I was good at it, right? And so I wanted to be a high school math teacher. So I'm in calculus 2. There's a new professor. This professor, who I'm truly grateful to, faced the blackboard, wrote with her right hand, erased with her left, never turned around to the class, literally never turned around to the class,
Wow.
filled the front blackboard, filled the side blackboard, and then started over again. So everyone in the class is totally lost, right? I have a 4.0. I'm going to graduate in 3 years with a 4.0 and be a math teacher.
Wow.
Calculus 2 was the end of the line for me. So I'm catching a bus to go home for Christmas. I send a friend to check the professor's door to see, do I pass calculus 2? She comes running across the parking lot screaming, "You got a D! You got a D!" And I went,
Oh,
I never have to take calculus 2 again. And my minor was psychology just because I liked it. It was fun, it was easy, it was interesting, and I just immediately flipped major and minor and never looked back. It's a gift, right? It's a divine intervention that I was not to be a math teacher. I was to be a psychologist.
yeah. That's a really good story. I'm glad I asked that. Yeah.
It's a
So
fun,
you were always meant to be a therapist. You just went to when
I
your
didn't know.
little road was not
Right,
like
right.
straight.
I needed some help to get there.
Mm.
But I
Do
love
you-
it.
yeah. Tell us more. Why do you love it so much? I
Uh,
know why I love it.
yes, I love it because it's real, right?
Mm.
You can change at any age, regardless of what the trauma, the struggle, the history is. You're pliable, you're flexible, you're capable of blossoming, right? Of really changing the piece of history that created damage for you. And I love helping people get there.
That's really awesome. Beautiful. And do you plan to create more journals or write more books?
I am almost finished with a book for fathers about how to raise boys so that the boy has access to the full range of emotion, because we train our boys not to access the softer end of the emotional range. And then we expect them to develop deep, intimate relationships with a partner and with children. Not
Isn't that fascinating?
possible. Not possible. And
Oh, my favorite is when we send boys off to war, and now girls, and then we expect them to know how to relate to their family coming
right,
back. It's a similar concept, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So
Mhm.
it's not possible. And in this day and age, I think the era of sending thousands of men and women off to fight another thousand men and women has really ended. We're going to do war by pushing buttons and sending missiles and exploding huge swaths of the world. We're not going to be sending thousands off to march and fight. So it is time that we change the way that we raise our boys and allow them access to the full range of emotion so that their potential for having attachment and building relationship changes dramatically. So I'm working on finishing that book. And then I'm also going to put together another 52 essays for another journal book.
Beautiful. As you publish, please keep me up to date so that your podcast show notes will highlight all your work, and then that way people listening in the way future, they can like, oh, that's available now. I can tap into that.
I will do that. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing with us what's next. Can maybe I would like to end if you can maybe share. I asked this at the beginning, but then maybe I interrupted you. But what is it that really inspired you to create your journal and the work that you're doing now with writing and publishing? What's inspiring you?
I think it's because as I age, I want definitely to give back. And when you're a therapist, there's a limited number of people that you impact, right?
That's
You
right.
have X hours in the day and the week, and that's the number that you impact. And I want to impact more. And so I think that's what created the journals is the opportunity to impact a wider group of people and challenge them to grow, educate them on the fact that you could change at any age, right? Life is rich. And you can tap into your history and heal from injuries, and that opens you to better connection with the people in your life, and it can lead to repair.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gloria, for being a guest on my show today. It's been a pleasure
I've
getting to know
enjoyed it,
you.
Karen, very much.
Okay.
Thank you for listening in today. Please join us next week, same day and time. Also, I would love for you to check out my website, healthrivedream.com.